Alrighty, folks. Welcome to Find Your Perfect Basketball Camps, Module 2, Step 1. We will be learning today. Welcome to Professor Blake Stockton's Basketball Camps 101. I'm just kidding, of course. This is not going to be like any class. This is a guide. It's hands-on, it's actionable, and you can save money. But before we can do any of that, we have to learn and become that basketball camp expert. Today's game plan: go over different types of basketball camps you'll come across, common basketball camp terms you'll see on the interwebs, basically help you get to know basketball camps a little better so you aren't confused by anything you read and have that moment. Definitely want to avoid that moment. And if you do have that moment, you can always post your question on the FPBC private Facebook group and talk to other parents and to me too, just like you. Today's rookie mistake: getting right into the search. You may be thinking, I just want to do the searching, Blake. I don't want to do the learning and the thinking, those first two steps. But I'm telling you, take some time and learn a little about basketball camps. You will save yourself time in the future. Go through this module and the next so you can quickly size up a camp. You can kind of have the skills I have now, where I can look at something, know exactly what it is, know exactly who it's for, what it's all about. You'll waste that time searching, trying to figure this out on your own, because I'm going to tell it to you right now. I'm a big believer in many aspects of life. When you know what you're looking for, when you can narrow it down and figure it out, you tend to find it a lot easier. Cheat sheet and bonus for this module. The cheat sheet will be the types of camps and camp terms. Print it out, follow along, and use it during your search when you get into it. I'm going to be quickly going over all these. I don't want to bore you to death with them. But if you do come across them, look it up on your sheet and check it out. The bonus, kind of a cool thing I found and thought you might find helpful: an overnight basketball camp schedule for who else but Duke University. Check it out. It gives you a good example of the morning, noon, and night basketball schedule, so you can have a good idea of just what goes on during a full camp. And a good camp, Duke definitely has a solid basketball camp program and a basketball program. Before we get into the types of camps and common camp terms, I want to go over what the yearly BBall camp schedule looks like. Use this schedule to plan for your basketball camps throughout the year. Summer camps will be early June to mid-August. You're going to want to start your search in March. If it's not March, if it's later, if it's July and you still haven't signed up for camp, even if it's August, it's okay. But next year, if you want to get ahead of the pack, and we'll go over how to save money, but it's important to start early to save money as well. Start in March. Remember that camps might not be updated until May. For whatever reason, things are a little behind and they update it in May, even for camps in June. Remember, basketball camps aren't held just during the summer, too. What about winter and spring break? Those are great times to have basketball camps as well. Many clinics are held during that time. And why not year-round training? More and more facilities are providing year-round basketball training. There's personal basketball trainers, a ton of them out there. Consider that as well. Don't just limit your training to the spring, summer, and winter. So now let's get into the types of camps. Basically means all the different types of camps you can sign up for, and you'll be surprised because there's a lot. A clinic, I just referenced that. It's shorter than a camp, and it's cheaper alternative to camps. The difference between camp and clinic is shorter either in number of days, so maybe it'll be 1 versus 3 days, or 2 versus 5 days, or it'll be shorter in time. So maybe a clinic will be in the morning only from 9 to 12, or PM, such as 1 to 4. And if you're looking for something, budget's a little tight, or you're just looking for something more affordable and in the summer, spring, or winter, check out clinics because they will definitely be available. Day camp, yeah, duh. I know day camp is when the sun is out. That's why I kind of just said that jokingly, but it will be 4 to 5 days. And I said day camp because more importantly, there'll be the overnight camp where campers will spend the night in dorms at a college or hotel. The difference between overnight and day camp is mostly the night play, and more games are usually played at night. And then there's also the overnight with the commuter option, which is basically an overnight camp, but you pick up the camper at night. And you'll want to do this if you live close to the camp because the pickup will probably be 9 or 10 or 10:30 at night. And you can save a couple $100, maybe $100 by not staying in the dorm. So consider that option too. Next camp is an elite camp for players with advanced skills looking to challenge themselves. A couple elite camp examples: IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. I've been there. It's an amazing facility. If you're really trying to get the best of the best and you have the traveling, you're looking to travel a little bit, definitely check out IMG Academy. It's also a private school where 99% of the kids there go on to play sports in college. The other 1% goes pro. So it's a very elite sports school. Very cool place. Definitely recommend checking them out if you're trying to get the best of the best. I also really like PGC basketball. PGC, I actually went to this camp. It used to be called Point Guard College back in the day when I went. And they have a huge emphasis on training and advanced skill training. These are for intermediate to advanced players. You can't really go if you're a beginner because they're going to push players. They're going to try to take them to the next level. But recommend checking out PGC basketball as well if you're looking for that type of training. Continuing with the types of camps, exposure and showcase camps are designed for players to get noticed by college recruiters and scouts. We will go more in depth in these. Check out some in a future module in case you are interested in that or your son or daughter ever gets to that level. Specialty camp, which will focus on one area of basketball. Common specialty camps are shooting, dribbling, offensive attack moves, and for post players as well. A good example is a camp called Quick Handle Basketball, and it specializes in ball handling. National Camp is a name that I came up with, or whether or not I came up with it, I'm not sure, but I use it on my website, youthbasketballcamps.com, to describe camps with locations all over the U.S. Nike is probably the most well-known example. Breakthrough is another one. Advantage Basketball. We'll go more into those as well, but I just wanted to give you a definition for that. Celebrity Camp is basically a camp by a well-known entity or famous person. An example would be an NBA, WNBA team, a player, a coach, any popular colleges. A team camp is typically for high school teams, possibly competitive teams as well. Satellite camp is really cool. It's gaining popularity, and it's where the camp comes to you. An example, Midwest Elite Basketball. You find the gym, the players, and they will come to you to host the camp. How awesome is that? And the training is tailored to your team and what you need to work on and what their skill level is. Division 1, 2, 3, and NAIA are different college sizes. It's how I separate camps on youthbasketballcamps.com. D1 will be the most popular. That's the big schools, all the University of Kentucky, Duke, University of North Carolina, all those huge colleges. And a lot of people focus on those camps. But also remember, D3 and NAIA schools may be closer to home, and they also have some really good programs. We'll go over that some more in the future as well. Fantasy camps are basketball camps for adults. You may come across these. I just wanted to go over those because they are popular as well for adults who are big fans of some sports teams like University of Kentucky. Pro tip for high school camps. Okay. Youthbasketballcamps.com doesn't list any high school camps. There's just too many. Can't list them all. But if your son or daughter is in elementary or middle school, I highly recommend trying to attend the basketball camp of the high school they will attend in the future. This is because it gets them introduced to the coaches of that school. If the coach knows your son or daughter, knows how hard they work, they will remember them when tryouts come around freshman or sophomore year. And as a parent, introduce yourself to the coaches and comment. Do your part. Comment on how your child is looking forward to the high school team 1 year, playing for them, and it'll give the coach will keep an eye on your kid. I went to several high school camps back in the day, and although I didn't end up going to any of those high schools, I still knew those coaches and maintained relationships. I highly recommend this as a tip because getting introduced can help recognize during those tryouts. A few more basketball camp terms. These are common terms you'll see on basketball camp websites, so we don't have those moments. Camper to coach ratio, number of campers for each coach. 9-to-1 is typically a good ratio. 10-to-1, 11-to-1. And a red flag alert here. If you don't see that camper to coach ratio listed on the camp website or brochure, you want to make sure that this isn't a camp factory. A camp factory is where the camp is trying to get as many kids to go as possible to make the most money. Before you know it, it's 20-to-1, 25-to-1 campers for every coach, and you don't want that because it's less individual training. It's more of a just let's play around and you just don't learn as much. So the best camps will cap their camps or add coaches as more players are added. Definitely want to check out that for camps. Camp swag is all the merchandise a camper receives from camp. Usually receive more at a celebrity camp. My favorite example I recently came across was the camp Rajon Rondo swag. And he gives out a t-shirt, backpack, headband, socks, autograph photo sessions, and then other goodies that campers can win. And here's some examples. T-shirt, backpack, headband, see a little R, the check mark, other t-shirt, lots of good stuff there. Basketball camp terms, few more. Contests, this is where campers will participate in contests throughout the week against other campers. And typically the last day, the winners of every contest of every day will compete against each other for some awards like a trophy or some of that camp swag. This is always a fun thing to do if the camper can win and bring home an award. Practice the free throws, practice the hot shot competition so they can practice it with them so they can bring that award home. It's always a fun thing to do when they do that. Lectures, coaches and guests will give talks to the campers, hand down their knowledge. Lectures may be about a new skill, drills, life lesson. Those are important to look out for on basketball camps, websites and brochures as well because it's the educational component. Camp director is the person in charge of the camp. If you ever have any questions, get in contact with this person. At small schools, it may be the head coach, which is surprising, but he or she runs the camp. Stations are basically drills for skills. Typically, a camper will get 10-ish minutes at each station to learn new skills with camp instructors, and they'll learn things like offensive moves, defensive techniques, ball handling drills. Stations are another good thing to look out for because it's part of that educational component of the camp. Scrimmage is another name for games. Long day camps will have 5-on-5 or 3-on-3 scrimmages. The last camp term we have here is the camp store or bank, and this is where you can deposit money into the camp store, and the camper can go to that camp store and get snacks or drinks throughout the camp. And they set this up so the camper, him and herself, won't lose the money or possibly get stolen. I recommend putting some money in there just so they can have some Gatorade or some chips, whatever they give out at camp. All right, that wraps up learning. We learned a lot. Congrats on finishing that first step of the Find Your Perfect Basketball Camps guide. We went over a lot, but I, you should be on your way to become a basketball camp expert. We went over the summer camp schedule, which will help you plan. We went over the different types of basketball camps out there, common basketball camp terms you may come across. And print out that cheat sheet because I know we went over a lot. And as you come across these terms on the internet, cheat sheet will easily help you figure out what is what and which is which. Up next, step 2, think. Now that we've done a little bit of learning, it's time to do a little bit of thinking. The next module, I'm going to ask questions that help you better understand what kind of basketball camp is right for your son or daughter. It will narrow down that search so you know exactly what you want. And it's been a blast. Hope you had some fun. I will see you in the next module.